To Goon or not to Goon? Absolutely unskippable title. And for some reason, this title is formatted in like a Shakespearean level English format. So I have a feeling that this video is going to be not brain rot, and it's actually going to be very like productive and helpful. So let's actually hear him out.
When I was like 15 in the 10th grade, there was this girl that I had a crush on. She was like kind of quiet. She was like one of those smart girls that was still popular, not like a cheerleader or like that typical like popular girl aesthetic, but everybody liked her, right? She was in the 11th grade, so she was a grade above me.
Gotcha. Okay. Funny enough, okay, I had a very similar, like I can picture somebody back in my head when I was like 15. I had a similar story, bro.
She was a student aide in the library, so like an assistant librarian, some shit like that.
Okay.
And she was a little taller than me. She wore like these big, not too big, but like, you know, the circular rim glasses. Kind of low key, like just typical hot librarian look.
Okay.
Type shit. You know, like I said, I thought she was insanely attractive, but she didn't really know I existed for real. And one day at lunch, right, I was in line and I didn't know she was right behind me. Okay. But I was in line with my friends, you know, we was doing the typical, just being us, being loud and being fucking stupid like always. And
that's real. Average high school experience, bro. Growing up is realizing how much of a dickhead you were.
I forgot what we were doing, but my homie Kendrick accidentally pushed me a little too hard, and I ended up hitting the person behind me. And when I went to look, I saw it was her. And dog, my face just went flush. I was like, oh shit. You know, I didn't really know what to say. Like,
well, I want to know scientifically why it is where people will get nervous and flustered and they just can't act around somebody that they're attracted to. I guess maybe it's like a fear of embarrassment, but you don't feel that same fear around somebody who's a 1 out of 10, bro. Somebody you don't like.
Turned around to apologize, and when I saw it was her, and I saw that she was pretty like clearly visibly annoyed, I just kind of said like sorry and turned around, and I gave Kendrick this meanest stink eye because I'm like, you know, I like her, bro. Like, what are you doing? So, you know, we keep pushing, whatever, go to lunch. And at the end of lunch, when everybody got up to like, you know, dump their trays and shit like that before we left, I just happened to be standing right behind her waiting in line. In the like 10 seconds I had to think about it, I decided fuck it. So I tapped her on the shoulder. She turned around and I apologized again. A little bit more heartfelt this time, you know, like instead of just saying sorry, I actually apologized.
This is W maturity right here.
And I thought she'd be annoyed, but she was actually like, you know, it's okay. She said she knows my friend pushed me, whatever. And she said you should get some better friends. And bro, like I've mentioned before, but like this was like my peak awkward, goofy, stumbling over my own words era. But you know, once in a while your boy would land a clean little jab, right?
You better than me, bro, because I was not landing no jabs, bro. Tell me I'm the only one, bro. Back in high school, at least, I don't know if you watch this video right now or high school currently, but until I was probably like in college, I was not landing no shots about nothing, bro. Putting up straight air balls, Shaq at the free throw line numbers. The only time I would ever sound smooth is over like a DM.
And I said, well, I said something along the line. I don't remember exactly, but I was like, well, you should be my friend then, right? And she smiled, and that was all it took, dog. That was all I needed. That was the fucking bell at the beginning of.
I don't know. I've seen this method before. I'm not gonna lie. If y'all are trying to try the friendship method to try to get a girl to like you, 9 times out of 10, this does not work, and it makes the girl kind of feel backstabbed or betrayed because she feels like there's a friendship, but little did she know you were trying to be more than friends from the beginning, but you hit the, friends to lovers type of method, you know?
The fight telling me to get ready, man. Like, so later that same day, I was talking to my homie Eddie, and I asked if he knew what period she was doing the student aid shit in the library, because he used to go to the library a lot, and it just so happened to be during my free period. So I was like, oh, the stars are aligning, bro. So I went and got a library card, and I started going almost every single day, like at bare minimum 3 days out of the week.
Bro, niggas will get a crush and start reading. Yo ass was not reading before this, bro.
To the library. And from the jump, bro, I was making attempts. I would like ask her for a book recommendation. What was it like being a student aide? Just basically
book recommendations as if you're like a bookworm, you know, a connoisseur of literature. Yo, you're not reading, bro. You're like, yo, what do you think about this paragraph? What do you think about this book? Is this LARPing? I don't know. I mean, to be fair, if he's getting into it, then he's getting into it.
Any excuse to talk to her. And it took like almost 2 months. It had to be at least like 6 weeks of going almost every fucking day. Okay. But I finally was able to get her number. And boy, let me tell you, shorty was a tough cookie to crack. It took almost 5 months of texting and like talking on the phone and shit and talking to her at school before I finally started to catch a little bit of rhythm with her for real. To the point where I would feel comfortable asking her out. And I finally built up the courage to ask her if she wanted to hang out sometime. It was like right after my 16th birthday.
Now, does the shot go in?
School used to end on, I think it would be like the last day of school was like May 25th, right? And then a week later, May 31st was my birthday. So I had told her like right before school ended, yo, I'm gonna turn 16 soon. We should hang out during the summer. So after I turned 16, maybe like 3 days later, I went and got my license immediately so I could, now I could pick her up myself.
Okay.
I gotta have her come pick me up, or after I got my license, I asked her out. She said yeah. And
hey, he hit the shot. And that's all that matters, bro. You made the shot at the end of the day. Okay.
The thing is, I'd also hit my second growth spurt. The little youngster went from being like, I think I was like 5'6" towards the end of that school year to like, I shit you not, bro, I was like 5'8" almost overnight.
Dude, are you me, bro? What the? Bro, I had the exact same thing happen to me when I was like 15, 16. I went from like 5'6", because, okay, freshman year, I was 5 foot, like 4'11", it maybe, By the time I hit sophomore year, I was like 5'6"-ish, and then from junior year, I hit like 5'8", and now I'm like around 5'11".
I think within like 2 or 3 weeks, I grew like 2 inches. It was fucking crazy. But all of a sudden, I'm taller than her, I was bigger than her, so I had a little bit more confidence, So we hung out, I don't know, once or twice at like the park, or go get McDonald's, or just like regular shit, whatever, teenager dates.
Right.
Neither one of you got a lot of money or a lot of options. And then one day she asked if we could go to the city library together.
Bro, them teenager dates will have you creative as hell, boy. Like, y'all be going on picnics. You maybe go to the beach. You go to the park. You find every single way possible to enjoy yourself without spending $1. And that gets you in your bag. And a lot of times those be the better dates, bro. Like, I remember back when I was younger, I went on like picnics, or like sometimes I'll do like paint this and that. Maybe play sports. Maybe do a bunch of different things in one day and call it like a game day or something. Play cards. You got to pull out those type of tricks when you're not rich.
And I figured, I was like, oh, like this is kind of her element more. Like this is her domain, and she asked me to go with her.
Oh,
so I was like, shit, bet. I jumped at the opportunity. I was like, oh, maybe she's really feeling me now, So we went. I didn't have a membership or whatever to the library, so I signed up, threw that shit, like the little card, in the back of my wallet, and I followed her around like a puppy for 3 or 4 days that week. But on the last day of the week, either the third or fourth time, something was a little different that day. We sat down in like this little corner of the library where like the lights were dim. It was a rainy day. It was low key kind of a vibe. It was a little bit of a mood. And she sat like extra close to me in the library. Like we sat side by side, and she like had her arm up against mine, making physical contact. At one point, she like laid her hand on mine while she was reading. Heart was beating out my chest.
That's how you know, bro. Like, she kind of likes you at this point. The touch barrier, I feel like a girl's not gonna do that for no reason, unless she's trying to play you, which would be damn.
I was nervous as fuck. We were there for probably like 2 or 3 hours, and we're getting up and getting ready to go back to my car, right? We walk out the front door of the library, and the library is right next to like the city park. So you make a right and you start walking towards the park, and I parked the car in the parking lot. God damn, I just said park a lot of times. Anyway, as we're walking towards my car, and I open the passenger.
Yo, quick pause. I really like the vibe of this video. Obviously, it's kind of simple. It's got like the skate. I don't know which skate version this is, but one of the skate series games in the background. He's chilling, just talking, and he's a good storyteller. And I know this because this video is about gooning, bro. What does any of this have to do with gooning at all in the slightest? Yo, what?
Your door for her to, put her books and whatever the fuck else in there. And as I was walking around to my side of the car, she came behind me and grabbed me, and she just started kissing me and shit.
Oh,
right?
whoa.
And this wasn't my first kiss, but this was probably like kiss number 3, so I still wasn't like great at it, but I was kind of getting in my bag.
Okay.
We start just honestly making out, and she ends up kind of leading me to the back seat of the car, and it was an experience, I'll say that. And I found out
hello? Are y'all even dating, bro? What the?
a few weeks later that she was actually going to be graduating early. She was only going to be in senior year for like 3 months to get the last few credits that she needed. I think like just 1 semester, and then she was out.
Okay.
Like I said, she was smart. She was taking advanced classes, all that shit, whatever. So obviously things kind of ended up fizzling out after like another month or 2. But the reason I mention all this is not actually because of her, but that library card. You remember how I said I threw that shit in the back of my wallet? Well, it's an old wallet. It's a different one from the one I got a wallet when I was like 17.
So where's the connection? Does the library card cause a gooning addiction, bro?
And that's the one I've been using literally for the last like 13, 14 years. But that wallet that I had in high school, I kept it because I had like some pictures I took back in school, shit from the school. It was like memorabilia and like nostalgia shit. So I kept the wallet. I found it like a few weeks ago in my dresser, right? And I started looking through it and I found the old library card, and I remembered why I even got that card in the first place, and I remembered her and everything that happened, whatever. And a couple recent videos I've mentioned that I've been really like putting in a real effort to just kind of better myself and my lifestyle in general, you know.
Everybody watch this video right now. Make sure you're taking the steps to better yourself in all forms of life, whether that's mental health, physical health, your relationships, everything, bro. There's never a time to stop improving.
Honestly, I've been locked in. I've been eating so much like healthier, better portions. I've been like watching my caloric intake and shit.
Hey, all y'all who eat them damn fast food, McDonald's, Wendy, 4x4 diets, listen up to him right now, bro.
Like that, like I've really been on my P's and Q's with that shit. I've been exercising a lot more regularly. I've been going to the gym a lot more consistently lately. I've been trying to make sure I spend more time outside in the sunlight, in nature, playing with my...
See, he's beating me for sure. I don't see the sun ever, bro. I don't touch grass. I don't do any of that. I haven't hit the gym in like months, bro. I went on like a crazy gym arc for like 6 months, and then I just like got lazy as hell. But I want to get into running soon because cardiovascular exercise is really good for you.
Dogs, going for a walk, whatever. Just, you know, like I said, on my Soluminati fucking geyser. Gazer shit, just trying to, you know, get some of the warmth and the vibrations of the sun soaked into my skin and my soul, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Trying to make sure I get better sleep, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yo, my sleep is so trash, bro. This video is becoming like a wellness check-in with y'all, bro. Like, how's you guys' sleep, bro? Deadass. My sleep is so bad. Like, I will sleep like 6 hours, 5 hours. Sometimes I'll get up. Like, right now, I'm recording this video at 5:30 a.m. and I haven't slept. And I'm gonna post this video the same day. Like, this is actually bad, bro. Anybody with bad sleep schedule, I'm telling you right now, you want to lock in and fix it. I messed up my sleep schedule probably back when I was like 15. And ever since then, I've had this like crazy addiction to ruining my sleep. I will never get more than a good week of productive sleep, waking up early. Even after that, something happens and I just spiral out of control, and now I'm back to like not sleeping on time and staying up late as hell. And I have not been able to shake that habit since I was dead ass like 15, bro.
That's a whole nother topic. Insomnia is a fucking bitch, and I hate her. Another thing I didn't mention is, I don't know how to put this, I guess, reducing goon time. So like, all right, let me just...
What? Yo, you just gonna just sprinkle that in there? Just drop it? No transition? No smoothly, like, go to the next topic? Just reducing goon time. All right.
Don't get it twisted, all right? I've never been, like, a gooner. Like, I know a lot of y'all little motherfuckers are.
Okay. All right, bro.
I've yanked it no more than normal. Like, I don't even do this shit daily. Like,
if you're doing it daily, I would argue you're an insane level gooner. He's saying I don't do it daily. So if you're doing it daily, that's too much. If you're doing it multiple times a day, get help, bro. Dead ass. Like, call the hotline or something, because that's an addiction for sure.
shit, sometimes it'd be...
Also, but then to be fair, I guess there's no threshold of like how much you should goon. Honestly, you should just stay away from it, bro.
Like twice a week, you know what I mean? It's natural, so like, I know it's kind of awkward to talk about, but I'm an adult. A lot of y'all are adults, or at the very least old enough to fucking know better.
Yep.
It's natural, shit happens, you gotta do what you gotta do, whatever. But one of the side effects that I didn't realize or think about of living a healthier lifestyle that didn't click until a couple weeks ago, I think the boys are back with a vengeance. And I'm not...
The Boys? Like the show?
not talking about Amazon Prime here.
Oh.
Like, I've felt the testosterone increase. I've felt like low key, like, I don't really know how to explain it, but my muscles feel tighter in a...
Yo, what are we talking about right now? This video is like the definition of TMI, but I mess with it though.
good way, not like tense. Like, they just...
Pause for me saying I mess with it after he said that, but...
I have more energy, and I'll just be honest, a much higher sex drive. And
Bro.
you know, I'm gonna admit, I've kind of felt the urge to possibly have more like casual hookups and shit lately. Like I said, that urge is very hard to overcome, and it was just kind of leading me into some questionable conversations and just doing shit that was a little out of character, right? So
I'm pretty sure like being low testosterone as a dude really negatively impacts you, and I think like working out increases it. I believe maybe certain types of lifestyle changes. I don't know enough to do. I need to do more research on it, but yeah, this is natural. I mean, you're gonna feel a boost right in your early 20s and stuff, late teens.
kind of snubbed it probably, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago. And the other day that I found that library card, you know, I've been kind of thinking maybe about starting to try reading again. I'm not trying to be like a health guru or like completely 180 who I am. I'm still the same Yankee dumb motherfucker that you've been listening to for however long.
That's fair. I think like, bro, you don't have to be a health guru to want to like practice healthy habits and preach healthy habits. For example, like for me, I'm not a health guru by any means, but I will never sit up here and like recommend unhealthy lifestyle. Even let's just say hypothetically I was some intense gooner, insane gooner. You think I would be on here being like, yo, everybody, you should goon, blah, blah, blah. No, even if I was addicted to freaking cocaine crack in my system, I would not be on here being like, yo, you guys should try this, you guys should do this. I would always be like, yo, never do this. And then secretly off camera, I would do it because that's my like vice, you know? But I would never recommend it to such a big audience because I don't know who's watching me, who's influenced, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like I'd be doing my audience a disservice recommending them to do stuff like that. It's almost on the same level of like taking gambling ads in a way. So yeah, you don't got to be like some crazy health guru to recommend healthy habits or whatever. And also, just because you're trying to practice healthy habits does not mean that you're not allowed to make mistakes. A lot of people think that like once they make a mistake and then they fall off the track of something, they are a failure and then they completely just stop and then kind of like relapse into their old ways. Like let's say they're like, oh, I'm gonna start reading, and then they stop reading for a week and then they're like, okay, never mind, I'm done reading. I quit this challenge. No, just pick it back up again. You don't fail. Failure is not actually taking a hiatus. Failure is quitting the thing. So whether you're doing a challenge of like you want to read every day, if you don't read every single day, you didn't fail. The only time you fail is if you decide to stop reading as a whole, you know?
The same guy, but I do want to live a little bit healthier and just I'm trying to play the long game, you know what I mean? Like with my life and with my health and what I want to do with myself and shit like that. So I've been thinking about reading again. So I actually went back to my local library to sign up, and I've been reading lightly here and there. I checked out 1 or 2 books.
Bro, I've been seeing actually like the library is such a good resource. If y'all have like free time and stuff, bro, libraries have like almost anything that you need, and some type of professional or like older person maybe who can give you advice and point you in the right direction when it comes to like maybe job opportunities or learning opportunities, tech opportunities, experiences, etc.
I started going back like probably about 3 weeks ago. And at the same time, obviously, like I said, I've been trying to focus on controlling my, I guess, increased libido. It's been a while since it was this high, to be honest. And, your boy Yankee not trying to be a hoe or be a goon or nothing like that. So I've just been trying to keep myself contained as best as I can. I ain't got a girlfriend or nothing right now, so it's kind of, and casual hookups in this day and age, a lot of people got shit that they don't admit to. You gotta be careful. So
facts. No, people will freaking burn you with their dragon's breath, and I'm not talking about like no anime techniques. I'm talking about STDs, all that type of stuff, bro. You'd be surprised how many people catch random bodies. Also, I heard that having like casual intercourse is bad for relationships because it desensitizes you in a way. I forgot the best way to explain it, but I read a study and it was like the more casual partners you have, the worse you're willing to like fight for a committed relationship in a way. I don't know. There's a better way to explain it 100%, but look it up.
I found a book, right? Probably like 2 weeks ago that I found pretty interesting, and it was about like spirituality and like the connection between like what you put in your body and what you get out of it. Like, if you put garbage food in your body, you're gonna feel shitty. If you put more natural and healthy things in your body, you're gonna probably feel more healthy. And
the younger you are, the less you'll feel it. But as you get older, for sure, I know the motherfuckers in their 35s and stuff, they're like, yo, I can't eat this french fry or I'm gonna go into cardiac arrest. I need my beet juice and my onion juice right now.
And that kind of stuff. And I got to a point in the book recently that was about the relationship between sex and your spirit. And it mentioned how our bodies and spirit, much like everything else in the world, are subject to the laws of equivalent exchange.
Okay.
And basically, if you're actively and overly expelling energy, i.e. gooning, arguably what is your own life essence, from yourself, then there's going to be an imbalance in your energy. You're expelling too much without replenishing it with something else.
Okay.
And it's just kind of, I don't know, it's got me thinking about like just the amount of emails and DMs that I've gotten from you guys about, asking about like corn addiction, gooning, and just like other unhealthy habits that kind of revolve around sex and stuff like that.
I think for anybody experiencing this right now, because I feel like everybody watching this video has experienced some type of like issue with corn. And if you haven't, you consider yourself lucky. But I would say, as somebody with previous experience, let's just say that, bro, I would recommend just distracting yourself as much as you possibly can, to the point where if you're outside, you're spending time with your friends, you're practicing healthy habits, by the time night falls around, you're gonna be tired, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, put a streak of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and eventually you're really gonna forget about it. I feel like a lot of times the gooning happens when you're scrolling and then you're like, you see something else somewhere and then you're like, you get these urges and temptations, It happens a lot when you're wasting time.
Over this last like year or whatever. And I could kind of somewhat feel myself heading in that direction. Not that I was like gooning and shit like that, but just it's really just been like sex has been on my mind a lot more, like kind of all of a sudden. And while it is an uphill battle for most men and women too, obviously I'm not a woman, I can't speak from a woman's experience, but I'm pretty sure we're all sexual beings. I gotta tell you that, controlling yourself and And living a healthy lifestyle and being careful about what you're giving or swapping energy with has like so genuinely had me feeling so much better this last like probably 2 or 3 weeks, more than I have in like the last 2 or 3 years.
Fire.
And you know, like don't get it twisted. I'm not saying like everything is sunshine and rainbows and life is hunky dory and that, you know, you eat right, you go to the gym a couple times a week, and you don't jerk off every 10 minutes. All of a sudden, fucking, you're gonna become a rich billionaire.
You won't become a rich billionaire, but your quality of life will definitely go up. You're gonna not compare yourself to a bunch of stuff, and you're not gonna compare women to a bunch of stuff. Like, bro, one of the really bad things about corn, besides how it affects you, it affects like the way you see women. Cause like, bro, the stuff on camera, it's all exaggerated, edited, surgery, just like slop, just nasty stuff. The more deeper and addicted you get, it just makes you like feel this pressure around women. It's like, it also gives you an unrealistic expectation of what intercourse even looks like too. It's just bad for very many reasons that I could get into an entire video explaining, which I think I probably have actually on my other channel.
And you're gonna be shredded and like, you know, life's gonna be perfect. I'm not saying that, you know, I still have depression creep into my head once in a while, and you know, sometimes I'll just kind of feel down. Like, I think yesterday was kind of a shitty mental health day for me for like most of the day up until like the end of it. It happens, but I can just tell you that, you know, learning how to have self-control in all aspects, whether it's food, video games, the time you spend online, what you look at online, you know what I'm talking about, the time you spend with yourself, you know what I'm talking about, all that shit, you know, just if you learning how to have self-control and discipline it's twofold, you know, because one, when you become disciplined, it makes learning new tasks or doing new things that you once thought maybe would be difficult that much easier.
Yeah.
But it also gives you so much more self-confidence in yourself.
Facts.
When you know, like, if I can do this, then I can definitely do this other thing.
Facts.
You know?
Absolutely facts. Like, I always say this when it comes to like content creation. So for me, I used to like start off on TikTok as like a fashion creator, okay? And if you didn't know that, now you know. And then when I started doing that, I was like, okay, maybe I can do YouTube. And then when I started doing YouTube on my other channel, I was like, okay, maybe I can make reactions. And now it's like, I just feel like I could do literally whatever I feel like as long as I put the right effort and study it, you know? That self-confidence is all you need to achieve pretty much anything. And obviously you need some luck to an extent with certain stuff, but
the other thing is like, dog, I really feel good. Like, I just turned 30, you know, old, whatever the fuck. Dog, I feel as good right this moment that I'm talking to you right now. I feel as good
wait,
as
this guy is 30, bro? I thought he was like maybe 23.
did when I was like 22. And like I said, the last like probably 2-3 weeks, I've been just really eating healthy. I've been eating a lot of low carb. I'm like watching my macros, watching calories. I've been eating a lot more fruits and like I've been fucking with like coconut water, like organic shit.
Oh God, bro, coconut water is good. Anybody who says coconut water is not good, bro, you need to get your taste buds changed right now, bro. Coconut water is fire. Fruits are fire. When you stop eating like processed sugar all day and like sodium, high sodium, high calorie, high fat foods, high trans fat, whatever you call them, bro, them fruits be tasting way better.
I've been drinking a lot more water.
Also, you wonder why all these candies are fruit flavored? It's because fruits taste good, dude. Just start eating fruits and you gonna really know. Fruits taste better than any type of candy, any type of desserts, in my opinion.
I ain't gonna lie, my skin's always been like really, really clear, to be honest. But I've noticed the last few days it has a little bit of a gleam, whatever the word is.
Yep.
To it, like I just been feeling really good, dog. And you know, I know it's hard, and like I said, I just turned 30. I've always kind of had some self-control in some aspects, but not so much in others. I'm just now really locking into trying to control a lot of aspects of my life that were either out of control or I thought I had under control, but were slipping out from under me.
I think this guy being 30 years old really puts into perspective that you can always improve no matter what age. And like, never think that it's too late or too early to start practicing healthy habits. Like, this guy is 30 years old. You might be in high school. I'm in college. It doesn't really matter. We can all strive for the best version of ourselves, you know?
So, you know, if you're like a 16-year-old, 19-year-old, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, 25-year-old, whatever the fuck, you know, we all move through life at our own paces, and you know, we learn how to do certain things at different times. So just because, you know, I'm having success with it right now doesn't necessarily mean you will right now. You're probably at a different place in your life. But what I'm trying to tell you is that once you learn how to control urges, control addictions, control whatever the fuck feels like you're just kind of spinning out, the satisfaction, the positive benefits, just everything that comes from it feels so much better, bro.
Yep.
And You know, I'm hope any of y'all that are going through something like that, struggling with that, are able to overcome it. It's gonna take time, dog. It's taken me many years of building up the know-how and slowly learning how to control urges and stuff like that. I'm just really at a place in my life right now where I'm mentally there. You know, I've always wanted to do it, but I didn't have that mental dedication, that mental fortitude, that mental true desire to do it until now. I really just want to better myself. I want to better my life, and I want to, like I said, play the long game and start thinking 5-10 years in advance, because my entire life since I was 16, I was like, I might just end up blowing my shit smooth off in a year or two. So fuck it, I'm gonna just enjoy right now, because I might not make it to 24, 30, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? So like, I've lived my life so much, not recklessly, but just like so much for the moment, because I didn't think I'd even live long enough to see, you know, that whole, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that kind of shit. But I'm also now kind of enjoying life and starting to realize I do want to be able to look forward to things and just be able to, you know, think, what do I want to do with my life in 5 years, 10 years? Where do I want to be when I'm 40, when I'm 50? Do I, you know, all that shit. So I don't know. I've been yapping long enough. Appreciate y'all. I've been Yankee. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Definitely fire video. Love the vibe. I love how he was able to get introspective, right? That's how you say it. I think part of like maturity is realizing your flaws, looking inside and being like, okay, I need to fix this, fix that. These are my issues, and I want to get better at this. As much as it could be funny to make like jokes, blah, 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 pushing 30, the best advice that you can get a lot of times come from people who are older, because they've experienced things that you haven't experienced. This guy's 30. There's a lot of stuff that he's seen that I haven't seen, so I can always appreciate a person's experience who just experienced more than me, you know? I think the biggest thing to take away from the video is to always improve, and also understand that if you're in a bad situation, things can always get better. Like, for example, for me, he mentioned depression, how he wanted to blow his shit smooth off. I don't know how much he was joking or, you know, how serious he was about that. For me, I grew up in an extremely toxic household, like very like questionable environment, a lot of crazy stuff going on in my life, especially in my early childhood, and I wasn't really looking forward to the future honestly at all. But now I'm doing better, you know. I have you guys, and yeah, just understand that no matter what, as long as you strive for improvement, stay disciplined, and work hard, I think that anything is truly achievable as long as you have the confidence and the discipline, as I said. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, link in the description. Let me know what you want to check out next in the comment section down below. Use the comment section as a kind of like a check-in, you know? Check in with somebody in the comment section, talk to somebody in the comment section. If you're dealing with anything or anything you want to get off your chest, use the comment section as a forum. With that being said, it's Love Hello. I love you, and I'm out.